Notice in the down here in the status bar there is no scale. When we were in the model, you see that this annotative scaling bar is always showing itself. So whenever I change it to any of these scale, nothing happened, right? And the only thing that was actually changing was that whenever I bring a text or any annotative like a object, that's going to basically affect the height of those texts. So let's go back to our layout. And in the layout, if I select this object, which is basically my viewport right now, the default viewport, you see that down here something show itself, which says the scale of selected viewport. So I have a list of the same list of what I have for annotative scaling. So if I change it, for example, to 1/8 equal to 1, what had happened, you notice that the grid size is changing. That basically means that whatever object I have in this viewport is going to be in the scale of 1/8 equal to 1. So this is not going to be affecting only the annotative object, but also the object within that viewport. That viewport basically kind of a window from my layout space to my model space. So let's delete this one and let's go back to the home tab and then change the layers to the viewport. If I go back to the layout tab, you see that in the second place I can create or I can manipulate the layout viewport. So the first one is like basically a rectangle form, but I have a different option that I can choose between in order to draw a different viewport format. It could be like a different, like a more free shape form for a viewport. So I'm going to select this one as a rectangle and I'm going to start drawing. I'm going to zoom in here. Okay. Zoom in this piece and I'm going to draw. I'm going to click make sure that it's inside of my drawing area and I'm going to draw something -6 and -4. Oh, okay, so it's not in the right place, so I have to move it. I'm going to move this one. So basically same as like any object in my drawing area, I can just move and then change the placement of this like a viewport. So the second thing I want to change is that this is going to be working for my view to my floor plan area. So I'm going to select this one and I'm going to double click here. So as you can see, if I zoom out or zoom in, that basically the object inside this going to be in this specific scale. So let's bring the first like a object is drawn. So in order to basically bringing one DWG file to the new DWG file, I have multiple options. One of the options that I have is that I bring the object as a block. So I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and the first command is like basically inserting the block. If I click on the Insert block, this insert menu would show up, so it show a list of the like a existing block. I don't have any block here, so I can go and browse and then find the floor plan from the last assignment that I work on and then insert that one as a block. I'm gonna use, I can just say that it's gonna be 0 0 as a position of this. The scale is gonna be 1 1 1 and I'm gonna keep the rest as it is and then pressing OK. So let's zoom out and see where it is. Okay, here we go. So here is my floor plan basically in this view. So as you can see, I can just zoom in, zoom out, and then adjust it. So this, but I want it to be as accurate as possible. It's not going to be an arbitrary kind of a scale. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to change that scale. It's going to be 1/16 equal to 1. And as I do that, now the floor plan that I have is basically in that specific scale. If I double click outside, that's going to be my scale for this floor plan. So if I select this and then bring this all the way down here and then same thing for that one, that basically gonna be my area correct viewport for this object. So the second thing I want to do is that I want to make sure that this view is kind of a block. So if I click here and then zoom in and zoom out, basically everything is gonna be messy and it's gonna be back to I have to just adjust it again. So I'm gonna Control Z on this, and then after I select it, I will go to the layout tab and I'm gonna lock it. So I'm gonna lock this viewport. So let's click here, lock, and then select this viewport, and then enter. So that's going to be locking my viewport in this view. So whenever I double click, zoom in, zoom out, you see that it's just zooming out and zooming out, zooming in and zooming out the paper space, not the viewport. So if I double click outside, I can go back here and then unlock and then selecting that object and enter. And that's going to be when I click here, you see that when I zoom in and zoom out, the paper space stays still, but I can zoom in and zoom out to the to my drawing area. So I'm going to Control Z this one as well. And click outside. I'm going to go here and then lock this viewport.